There's this thing most of us do every single day, and we don't even think about it. It's reading. It feels completely automatic, right? But what if I told you that every time you look at a sentence, your brain is running this incredible, almost secret program?
Okay, just look at this sentence right here. When I wore my red velvet pants, I felt like a princess. See? You just read it. Poof! Your brain took all those letters, all those sounds, all those meanings, and just processed it in a split second.
So how does that even work? How do we turn these little black squiggles on a screen into something as real as velvet pants or the idea of being a princess? Seriously, it feels like actual magic, doesn't it?
But here's the thing. It's not magic. It's a system. A really elegant code that you have already learned how to crack. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain on one of the most important secrets to that code. So I want you to start thinking about reading as, well, decoding. To read any word, no matter how easy or how tricky, you have to put on your codebreaker hat. And what's the first thing any good codebreaker does? They look for the smallest pieces of the puzzle, right? The fundamental units. For us, that means the individual sounds.
And here is the crucial part. These sounds, they're not just random. No way. They are absolutely governed by patterns. And we are about to uncover the very first, and maybe the most common, key to unlocking this whole system.
Okay, let's look at two super simple words. Bad and bed. I mean, they're almost identical, but you change just that one letter in the middle, the vowel, and the whole sound of the word changes. The A in bad gives you that ah sound. The E in bed gives you that eh sound. And that, my friends, is no accident. There is a rule at work here. And that rule, oh, it has a name. In fact, it's kind of the hero of our whole story today. It's the consonant-vowel-consonant pattern. We just call it the CVC pattern for short. This simple but really powerful pattern is what tells your brain exactly what sound a vowel is supposed to make. So here's the rule, and you're going to love how simple this is. You're looking for a syllable that has just one single vowel, and it's locked in by at least one consonant at the end. It's like that final consonant just slams the door shut, and it forces that vowel inside to make its short, punchy sound. Like the a in bat or the I in pet. All right, this makes it super clear. Look at a word like pest. Does it fit? Yep. One vowel, the E, and it ends in a consonant. What about add? Same deal. One vowel, ends in a consonant. But now look at cake. Ah, no, that's got two vowels, so it breaks the rule. And try? Well, it ends in a vowel sound, not a consonant, so that one's out too. Okay, so we've got the pattern. Now what? What do we do with it? Well, this is where the code breaking gets really fun and active. See, knowing this CVC pattern lets our brain do two key things almost instantly. We can break words apart and we can build them back up again. So the first move is called segmenting. This is your classic code breaker stuff. When you see a word like, say, tap, your brain goes, aha, that's a CVC word, and you just instinctively break it down into its separate sounds. T, a, p. Boom, you've isolated the sounds, you've cracked the code, you've read the word. And then there's the opposite move, blending. This is like being a code setter instead of a code breaker. You take the individual sounds, like b, I, g, and you just blend them together to build the word beg. So segmenting is for reading, and blending is for spelling. But they both rely on understanding that core CVC structure. Now, you know how every good code has its own little quirks, its special conditions? Of course it does. So think of this next bit as like a bonus level for the CVC pattern. It's a very specific spelling rule that just adds a little extra flavor. So here's the quirk. If you have a one-syllable CVC word and it ends in the sound F, L, or S, you usually double that last letter. It's why fluff has two Fs, bell has two Ls, and mess has two S's. It's just a simple little add-on to our main CVC rule.
Pretty neat, right?
Okay, we've learned the pattern, we've learned the actions, we even learned a little spelling quirk. So, now it's time for the big payoff. Let's go all the way back to that sentence from the beginning and see if we can spot our new code-breaking tool in action. Here it is again. When I wore my red velvet pants, I felt like a princess. Now, this doesn't look like an impossible magic trick anymore, does it? It just looks like a series of codes, all just waiting for us to crack them. And this is where you really see the power of CVC. Just look inside those longer words. The word velvet has the CVC syllable, vel. Magnet has mag. Fantastic has fan. And princess has prin. Your brain sees these short, locked-in CVC chunks, it decodes them instantly, and then it just stitches them all together to read the entire word. It's incredible. And just like that, the magic trick is explained. Reading isn't some unknowable magic. It's a system, a really beautiful, incredibly efficient code that was hiding there in plain sight the whole time. The key was just knowing how to divide and conquer. But here's what's really gonna blow your mind. That powerful CVC pattern we just totally mastered, it's just one piece of a much, much bigger puzzle. In fact, it's only six fundamental syllable codes in English that our brains are juggling constantly. The CVC pattern is just the first key on a pretty big key ring. Which really makes you wonder, right? What other elegant, invisible codes are you using every single day to make sense of the world without even realizing it?